everybody. Today we're talking about INFJs and overthinking. I've been asked by a few people now if I could do some videos on overthinking, and I said sure, because I love talking about overthinking. This is actually one of my favorite topics to talk about, that and trauma with INFJs. Overthinking and trauma are some of my two favorite things to talk about because I find it fascinating, and I am a great overthinker. If overthinking was an Olympic sport, I would have gold all the time. I am such a great overthinker. But really, what INFJ isn't, right? INFJs overthink. So I'm going to talk about overthinking, give a little tip on how to help it, how to stop it. Yeah, it's going to be fun. It's going to be a great topic to talk about. It's going to be so much fun. So welcome to my channel. If you haven't met me before, I'm Trina Bretnell. I'm an INFJ coach. I am so glad that you found my channel. I hope you find it helpful. And if you're returning, thank you for coming back. I appreciate everybody. So overthinking. I giggle about this one. I did when I was on TikTok. I'm not on TikTok anymore, but when I did an overthinking little short or TikTok, whatever they're called over there. And it was of people that would ask you what you're thinking about. And you kind of give them the deer in the headlight look, right? When they say, well, what are you thinking about? Because when we overthink, we tend to get quiet, and you give them the deer in the headlight look, and you're a little bit confused at what to answer, because as an INFJ, at any given moment, we have like 150 thoughts or more going through our head, right? So when we're put on the spot like that, it's almost like we draw a blank as to, well, I don't really know how to answer this because there's only 24 hours in the day, and I don't think I have enough time to tell you exactly all the things that I was thinking about. I laugh about that. Anyway, I also say if people knew half the stuff that we were thinking about, they would never be the same person again. An INFJ's mind is such a fascinating place. INFJs, let's get serious about this now, overthinking. INFJs, we are deep thinkers to begin with. We need to overthink. That is who we are. That is how our brain is designed. That's why it comes so naturally for us, right? We need to think through things. We need to weigh out all the choices, the outcomes. We need to analyze absolutely everything that comes our way in a day. If we don't, if we go and make a decision without giving ourselves the time to think, we feel really out of sorts. And chances are things aren't going to go like we would hope they would go if we make a rash decision, just because that's who we are. However, with that being said, there is a fine line between constructive deep thinking, that's what I call it, and overthinking. Overthinking is when we get pulled down that deep, dark rabbit hole, and the whole world inside of us is like chaos and distorted because we are stuck there. And I don't know about you, but when I overthink, which is a lot, I'm a great overthinker. I think I've said this a few times in my other videos. If overthinking was an Olympic sport, I would take gold. Guys, I overthink about overthinking. That's how bad it is, okay? So I don't even remember where I was going with this because I got stuck in thought. When we overthink, oh yeah, the deep rabbit hole. That's where I was going with it. It is. It's like a deep, dark rabbit hole, isn't it? When you're overthinking and you get stuck in your head, I call it getting stuck in my head, you feel very sluggish that day. Have you ever noticed that? I've gotten out of bed in the morning and went right into overthinking, and I slid right down that rabbit hole before I had even gotten dressed. And like I get out of bed and I go shower and I get dressed. That's what I do right away. And I will be stuck in there, and my kids will come and try and talk to me. And I know lots of times I probably don't even really hear them and kind of just answer like a robot answer. I'm getting better at that. However, that feels horrible. By noon, mentally, you're so exhausted. Like your brain is like mush, isn't it? I know mine is when we're overthinking that way. This is horrible overthinking. This, my friends, will keep us stuck. It will talk us out of doing things, massively talk us out of doing things, especially those things that we know we need to do, which are good, that's going to take us out of the comfort zone. Our overthinking is going to talk us out of that. Because when an INFJ gets pulled out of their comfort zone, it's very scary for us. We like our comfort zone, and we need to stay in our comfort zone quite a bit, but we do need to dip our toes out into the scary, uncomfort part of our comfort zone on a regular basis. Not too much like other people say. This is totally off topic. I have to throw this in there though. Other people will say the gurus, if you follow them. Push yourself constantly out of your comfort zone every day. INFJ, you do that and you will shut yourself down. You will burn yourself out very quickly. INFJs, we like our comfort zone. We need to stay in it, but we need to dip our toes out slowly, baby stepping out of it. Because to grow, we do need to get out of our comfort zone. Okay? Now, linking this back to the overthinking, as I said, getting out of our comfort zone is scary. So our overthinking will talk us out of doing it and we'll stay stuck, right? It creates fear, massive anxiety. If you struggle with anxiety like I do, it will create massive anxiety, that overthinking. And again, like I said, it mentally wears us down. I really hate it. I will message my sister and I will say, I'm just completely stuck in my head today and I can't even function. I hated it. So I made a choice that I was going to stop overthinking. I was going to quit doing it. And I'm going to share with you how I still overthink. However, I have control of it. So there's a big difference between an INFJ that has out of control overthinking and an INFJ who overthinks but is in full control of their overthinking. And I'm in full control now. I like to call myself a recovered overthinker. However, I don't think there is such a thing when it comes to an INFJ because, like I said before, we need to overthink. That is who we are. That is just how our brain works. And if we don't allow ourselves to do it, we're going to be making very bad choices and going down a path we just do not want to go down. Okay, so there are many different kinds of overthinking. I picked 4 of the most common ones that I see with my clients. However, INFJs, we use all of the kinds quite frequently. But the 4 that I picked are the most common that I see come up with my clients. The first one being rumination. We play past events, conversations over in our head. INFJ, you know this, right? I do this. I will think of a conversation I had 15 years ago, and I will get stuck thinking about this for hours of how I think this conversation could have went better or how I maybe hurt their feelings or it's horrible. Like, what the heck? Why are we doing this? It's a thing, INFJs. It's a thing. If you do it, it's an INFJ thing. We do this. Second, catastrophizing. I don't know if I say that word right, but that's how I say it, so we're going to go with it. This is imagining the worst possible outcome, worst case scenario, and we focus on that. Again, that's what will talk us out of doing it. Well, don't do that. I do that. Not so much anymore. 3, analysis paralysis. So this is where we get stuck on a decision or something that we want to do, and we're going to overanalyze it over and over and over and over and over and over and over. We do that. And 4, mind reading. INFJs, I don't know if all INFJs do this. Quite a few do, especially if we struggle with low self-esteem. It's assuming that we know what other people are thinking, especially about us. Those are the 4 common ones that I see come up. Now, how do we stop overthinking? I use the same technique for all of the overthinking. So it doesn't matter if it's rumination, catastrophizing, the same technique I use, and this is what I teach to my clients. It's mindfulness. No, right? You're probably rolling your eyes like, really? I sat here for 8 minutes and 30 seconds and now she says mindfulness? That's what it is. We need to pull ourselves back out of our head into the present time. INFJ, our personality type is very future oriented. We have a really hard time staying in the present moment. Very hard. We're always future focused and we're in the future. Sometimes we're in the past. If we're doing rumination, we're stuck in the past, but oftentimes we're in the future. So pulling yourself back to the present time is key. It's key for a lot of things. I'm just going to give you this. This is a huge, very important gold key for a lot of things. If you want success in life, if you want to thrive and not just survive with your life, mindfulness. Bring yourself back to the present moment. Pull yourself out of your head. So how do we do this? I struggled with this for years. How the heck do I pull myself out of my brain that is a chaotic mess, distorted mess? You're an INFJ. You know what kind of brain we have. I want you to adopt the habit of noticing when you're overthinking. Notice it. Now, I say habit because that's basically what it is. It's something that we have to work on over and over and over again to be able to do. So if you can't notice that you're overthinking the 1 millionth and one time this day, today, it's okay. Don't come down on yourself. Have self-compassion. Be easy with yourself because we are really good at overthinking and our brain just really, really wants to do it. So adopt the habit. Maybe set a timer on your phone once an hour if you have the time in a day, but even just a couple times a day, and pull yourself out of your head. Take note of it. When you catch yourself overthinking, pull yourself back. How to do that? My favorite technique, and this is what works for me and works for pretty much most of my clients, is I put one hand on my heart. I don't want to hit my microphone. And one hand on my tummy. And I take a breath in for the count of 4, and I hold it for the count of 2, and then I let it out for the count of 6. And when you let it out, if you're by yourself in your car, let it out with a big sigh. It feels really good and it will bring you right back to the present moment. But we're not done yet. Then notice a few things around you. I like to notice 3 things. Oh, there's a blue car. Oh, there's a robin on the power pole. Oh, there's a pothole in the middle of the street. Oh, there's kids playing in the playground. Look at that boy's wearing a blue coat. Notice the things that are around you. This brings you back to the present moment. Not only that, it gives your brain something else to think about, so it's going to stop overthinking on that topic that you were thinking about, okay? Now, you're probably thinking, okay, well, what happens in 5 minutes? If you can make it 5 minutes, when I start overthinking again, do this again. When I started doing this, I did it multiple times a day. I think that I still do it multiple times a day because now I just do it. If I catch myself overthinking and I can feel my brain going to mush, that's what I call it. Makes sense to me. But when I feel that sluggish, it's, the feeling of when you're overthinking, you just feel horrible. I pull myself back right away. And I do this. I take the deep breath. I count for 2. I let out a sigh. I let out a sigh even if I'm in a public place now because it works really good to really bring yourself back into your present space, into your present body. And it really kind of helps to start grounding you because that's what really we need to do is just ground and be back in this present space. Focus on some things around you. Notice a couple things that you haven't noticed before. That also is effective. Again, you're going to have to do this multiple times a day. I don't know how many times a day I have done this. I've probably lost count, and I do it lots. My kids are even used to me doing this. They know what I'm doing. I think Jay, my hubby, even knows exactly what I'm doing. When I do this, I'm just bringing myself back into my space, into my body, out of my head. It's helpful. This also will help calm down anxiety. This breathing and pulling yourself back works for so many things for an INFJ. So get good at it. Become very mindful about when you're overthinking. Again, this is hard to do because we do it so much and you're going to feel like you're doing it a lot in a day, and you are doing it a lot in a day. I can guarantee that you're going to be doing this lots. But if you want to get a hold of your overthinking and start controlling it instead of having it control you, sometimes we have to do the hard things, and this is a hard thing. I'm not going to say it's easy because it isn't, INFJ. I'm sorry. It's not, but it's definitely worth the work. I hope you found this helpful. I've talked enough about overthinking. Pretty soon I'll start overthinking about my presentation here, and it'll be a mess. I hope you found it helpful. If you found it helpful, please give me the thumbs up. And I invite you to think about subscribing to my channel because you never know what I'm going to talk about. Anyways, until next time, thanks for joining. And remember, notice when you're overthinking and pull yourself back to the present. That is going to be a huge step for you, INFJ. And you can do this. It's going to be hard, but you can do this because we are a very strong, tough personality type, and we are amazing. And this will help you be even more amazing. All right, I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.